Warning, due warning, listening to this podcast may be harmful to your electronics. Yes, I know it's out, but... Hi, everybody. Thomas Miller on the Fun Astrology Podcast. I mean, you have to laugh so that you don't get on here and cry. Yes, Mercury went direct about 30 minutes before we typically release these episodes, so they obviously have to be recorded in advance, converted to video, posted, etc. So all of that is happening under still Mercury in retrograde and under the long void of course moon, which we have another one all day today. We'll talk about that in a minute. But sitting upstairs right now is a fried, dead, 6-week-old printer. I was trying to print out something for the weekly video, and now it's dead. It won't connect to the internet. Yes, I powered it on and off. Is anybody else? Are you as tired of this Mercury retrograde as I am? Thank God it's over. That's good news number one. I think we might have some good news number two. Hi, Kristin.
Hello, Thomas and Fun Astrology Podcast. Today is a lucky day. We have a beautiful Venus and Jupiter conjunction that goes exact tomorrow. So definitely be using these next few days to the fullest. We move to more cautionary energy come Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but then go back to another lucky day. To find out more lucky days for August, join the Lucky Stars Club. Thomas and I can't wait to see you there. I hope you all have a great week.
Thanks, Kristin. You too. And y'all are going to have to subscribe to hear what that lucky day is coming up later this week. How do you get there? Just go to our new website, hightimelineliving.com. Scroll down a couple of hundred yards and you'll see it down there. I'll give you a heads up on the thing that I was trying to do to print for the video I'll tell you about. I think that because of everything that's going on in the sky, because of the Great Pyramid, because of all these alignments, and then this Pluto going out of bounds that we'll talk about here in a sec, I wanted to put together a guide for the rest of this year, and then we'll probably roll this forward going on into next year. But it will be a downloadable PDF, and it has, like August, all the key things by sequential date for August, September, October, November, and then December, January are combined. So it gets us into next year, through New Year's and into January. Then we'll pick up from there. But this includes the ingresses, so when a planet changes signs, when things go in and out of retrograde, and when they clear the shadows, the details on the eclipses, and then also the out of bounds. So all of that is chronological. But I'll tell you, it literally blew up my printer. So I'm going to just wait. I'm not going to release it until Mercury is clear. Well, which it is, basically, officially 3:29 this morning Eastern. But it will take until the 25th to get out of the shadow. But at least as you're listening to this probably today, it is tiptoeing its way forward again. All right, that's number one. Number two, Kristin just mentioned. That's the other big one, Venus-Jupiter conjoining tomorrow. And that happens early, 6:32 in the morning Eastern, in the sign of Cancer. You know, if this were just by itself, it would be so wonderful. It would be like, okay, call in sick, take the day off, just bask in this wonderful energy. However, we got Mercury, and even though it's moving direct, it's within 2 degrees of an exact opposition to Pluto. So let's just say Mercury is opposite Pluto, and Mercury's in Leo. So there is this battle. There's the mental battle that's been going on. It's the turf war that's been in your mind. And then we have Mars opposite the Aries vortex. And we've had these big major voids of course. So the one that started Saturday morning, that was 23 hours. The one that's happening today, 27 and 40 minutes, 27 hours, 40 minutes. The one on Wednesday is 14 and a half hours, and the one on Saturday is almost 11 hours. So in between all of that, we have to wedge in the good that we would normally experience from Venus-Jupiter. And oh, by the way, we're coming off of a full moon, so the moon is waning as well. But I'm glad that Kristin got us started off with a lucky day, and certainly we can celebrate Mercury now being direct. And by the way, just another resource from the new website, Kristin's moon calendar is on there, and there's, again, scroll down there by where Lucky Stars is, and you can click right to that as well. Would be really good to keep your eye on that all week. And the other thing I'd like to mention, and we will extract this more in the future, I'm also showing it on the weekly video, and that is Pluto on the 28th will be going out of bounds. Now, out of bounds is a little bit difficult to visualize if you don't already have it in your mind, but basically a planet cannot exceed the declination, in other words, the northernmost and southernmost boundaries that the sun travels through the seasons. I show this on the weekly video, so I would refer you to our YouTube channel, the Fun Astrology Podcast YouTube channel, and you can see it, and there a picture is worth 1,000 words. And you can also Google it and look it up that way too. Now let's throw another twist onto this because it's important to understand why this is happening now and won't be for a long, long time. As the Earth orbits the Sun, it is tilted 23 degrees. Pluto, you may not have known this, is tilted 120 degrees, so it basically orbits on its side, and it has a very erratic and almost egg-shaped orbit around the Sun. Our astrology is built on a geocentric, or from the Earth's perspective, looking out into space. So between the Earth being tilted and a little wobbly, and Pluto being basically on its side and very erratic, Pluto will not be in position to exceed those boundary limits for an upcoming thousands of years. Remember, the Earth's wobbly orbit takes 26,000 years to complete a full cycle. So a few thousand years of that for Pluto to realign is a drop in the bucket. This really is mind-boggling. So here's the deal. Beginning on August 28th, Pluto will be out of bounds. It stays that way until November 22nd. Ironically, a very important date in United States history. That was the date of the John F. Kennedy assassination in Dallas in 1963. And then, each year from now until 2035, always in the second half of the year, Pluto will be out of bounds. That's a total of 11 times. And then after 2035, it will not go out of bounds for thousands of years. Now the question is, will this be north or south out of bounds from the celestial equator? All 11 will be south. And wouldn't you guess that the last time that happened was also when Pluto was in Aquarius 250 years ago? The two revolutionary wars. Pluto going out of bounds to the south is the people expressing their discontent, wanting change, pressing against authority. And that is going to be with us, and for the next 7 years or so in harmony with the Great Pyramid. And this circles back to how we wrap things up on Friday, the greatest show on earth. And just to think that your soul and my soul chose this time to cohabit this planet, and then that we found each other through the means of this podcast so that we can at least be conscious of these things, know the celestial script, and be able to help guide this planet into whatever is going to be on the other side of this. And boy, as I pulled all of this out on Friday and started to study it and think about it, I just realized we have been given this massive responsibility. And yes, we'll start to unpack this. I mean, basically, it just means more of the same of exactly what we've been talking about. The shakeup of the Great Pyramid is going to be amplified. And now that we have Mercury out of retrograde, I also have the good news of telling you that the moon wobble begins. If you want to use the 3-week out date like I do, that would be next Thursday. So this week, look at what the sky has given us. This week, with these long voids of course, amounts to a great big pause for us to rest, recharge. Mercury is back on our side. We can catch our breath, but then we have the moon wobble and Pluto out of bounds right bam bam after that. Okay, I got to get out of here. I'm sorry I took 10 minutes of your time. Normally we try not to do that, but a lot to cover today and had to lay that context of what we were dealing with. Have a great Monday. Kristin's back with you tomorrow, and I'll see you with her on Wednesday for the Capricorn Rising Great Pyramid segment. Have a great day. Love you. Bye-bye.